Good morning, good evening. Welcome to this week's live chat. I don't know if I ended that off early. No, I didn't. I just saw the countdown because I was messing around. I noticed Doug had put the do it GIF, and for whatever reason, it was like tiny. So I'm just resizing those right now. Let's make them big. Can somebody send through some GIFs so I can test it? There we go. I'll move that over there. There we go. That's what we want, right? Thanks, live stream consultants. That's awesome. So obviously each week everything changes at YouTube. Well, not everything, but things change, things get updated, things roll over. And if you're not following the YouTube creator, oh my gosh, my brain just totally blanked out on the YouTube channel name. The creator news channel is Creator Insider. That's what it is. It's Creator Insider. Something I didn't think I'd ever have to write down. Good job, me. Then you need to be double checking that each week and go and checking that out, that information. One of the big things that happened this week is the thumbnails. We're now allowed to have big thumbnails. Obviously, there's a pile of caveats on top of that. So, you know, you can have up to 50 meg as long as you're uploading from a desktop. And so, you know, there's lots of information out there. Doug's got a fantastic, what do you call that? Like graphic for you to go and download, to go and check out. So Doug can totally drop a link into that if you would like to. But basically it means that you can have the bigger thumbnails. And why do we want these bigger thumbnails? I'm not sure if you're aware. I'm not sure if I've mentioned it. But there is a large proportion of people who now watch YouTube on television. And even people watching live streams watch them on televisions. So the data that I've been collecting and seeing now, obviously it's probably a little bit skewed because it's like a certain demographic. They will put the live stream on the television and then actually have their iPad or their phone or whatever in their hand to join the chat. So they will actually have it on in two places so they can have the big screen. And having those 2 meg limits on our thumbnails meant that when they were on the big screen, they were a little, I mean, they were okay. They're okay. But now we get to have 50 megabits instead of 2. And this means, especially for those of us that are surfacing on YouTube, on the YouTube app in television screens, our thumbnails are going to be so much better. So obviously, if you're on mobile, you're not going to be able to do that. If you're uploading from mobile, it is limited to, is it 10 megabits? I think it went up from 2 to 10. And if you're on desktop, you can have the 50. 50. My brain nearly went to 200, but it's not 200, it's 50. Now, the thumbnail that I did for today's live stream, I just upscaled in Adobe Express, one of my usual thumbnails. So I'm going to be testing this going forward. But even upscaling it, it only brought it up to nearly 10 megabits per second. So you can fit a lot into a 50 megabit thumbnail. You can fit some really top tight quality in. So I would definitely be playing with that. It's one of these things where if YouTube gives us access to something like that includes more data, because you've got to think YouTube has to host all of these thumbnails, right? So if they're willing to give everybody 25 times more space on their thumbnails, there's obviously an advantage for that. Oh, Doug says it's still 2 megabits on mobile, the 10 megabit is for podcast art. Thank you. So yeah, so being able to, for YouTube to actually go, oh yeah, sure, every channel now can have 25 times the storage space per thumbnail, that tells me that YouTube really think it's important to have these better thumbnails for television. So I don't know. What do you think? Let me know in the chat. What do you think of being able to make high quality thumbnails? Have you ever come up against the, you can't upload that thumbnail, it's bigger than 2 megabits? I know I definitely have. And I don't make all that flash a thumbnail, to be honest. Like there's people out there creating thumbnail art. I'm just like making a thumbnail. These people make art. So I can imagine that they would be smashing against that 2 megabit all the time. Having to raster size and things like that. Oh, exactly. Doug's just gone and linked that with the multi-language thumbnails. It's a huge statement in terms of importance. Absolutely. Now, I'm not sure if you've got option to see language in your YouTube channel. When you go to upload your multi-language audio, just in the last week or so, I've noticed that you can now have multi-language thumbnail. It is there. It's rolling out. So if you've got like 6 languages that you upload audio for, and you want to make the thumbnails for those 6 languages, I believe that you can actually still have the 50 megabits for each one of those individually. It just screams to me that YouTube think these thumbnails are very important. Livestream consultant says that yes, they have run into that limitation even on the banner art. Yeah. Lee's in the house. Hello, Anfield. Just call in after fixing my PC. It's running great now, like a new one. Have a great stream. Thanks so much for jumping in. I appreciate that, especially like how late it is for you. Totally appreciate you taking the time. This week I will be flipping and living on Utah time for a week. So I'll still be here in Brisbane in Australia, but I'll be flipping my time zone. And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like still gonna be able to do all the normal live streams and things I do. And I realize, no, today is still Sunday. It is Sunday. So I'll be good for that one, but I'm like, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to run my Thursday live stream, which starts at 10 a.m. my time. I'm like, will I be finished work in time? I don't know. So that's going to be a fun one. So me and time zones this week are going to be having a very strong relationship. And let me know in the chat, like, do you have a particular time zone that you are targeting? So a particular audience location. And what do you do about that? For me, I know a lot of you are in the US, so I try to make sure that my streams are friendly to both the US and Australian time zones. So unfortunately, that does mean that I can't do like Europe as well. So unfortunate for people like Lee, it is 11 o'clock at night for them. So like for me here in Australia, it's 9 o'clock Monday morning. I know it's 7 p.m. Eastern, which gets earlier. I think it's like, is it 4 or 5 p.m. in LA? But like these times are like, you know, a bit more human-y than 11 p.m. And I know like for Doug is actually, he's targeting Eastern time zones as well. So his live stream on Saturday mornings is actually at like 9:30 at night on a Saturday night here in Australia. So, or 10:30 if you're in the southern states to have daylight savings. So yeah, it's interesting, like what we as individuals do to target our desired audience. So if you're in the US and your desired audience is in the US, that's very cool for you. That is very cool for you. If you are outside of the US and your target audience is in the US, or if you're in Australia and your target audience is in the UK, you've got a little bit more to think about. And this goes not just for live streaming, but also for upload times. Also for upload times. I don't know why only half of that word came out. Don't know. Anyway, excuse me, sorry. So having a look in your channel analytics to see when your audience is online is a good idea to check before you choose your upload times. Now you can change that a little bit. So over time, on my Fiberific channel, the majority of my audience are at around 10 o'clock on a Thursday morning. And why is this? Because I've been running that live stream every week at 10 o'clock Thursday morning for something like 8 years. So it's like they know that that's when, you know, that's when that's going to happen. So it's actually longer than 8 years now. It's 9 years now. I've been saying 8 years for so long. It's actually 9 years. So, you know, it's definitely worth sort of keeping an eye on, and just sort of, especially if you need that, you know, first hit. Now, even YouTube says that it actually, over the lifetime of your video, it's not that big a thing. It's not that big a thing. Whereas if you've got it for like, I'm just going to make that graphic a bit bigger if I can. There we go. Yeah, it's not super important because, you know, you have people watching at different times. Like just because you upload a video at 6 a.m. on a Monday doesn't mean the majority of your audience are going to be watching it at 6 a.m. on a Monday. You could have people coming in like in any time zones. Like, it depends on who your audience is. And so being able to, but just having that knowledge that there's sort of no point putting it before this time or after this time. You can see in this graphic that it really helps you to work out when people are watching. So you can do the same thing with your live streams. You can sort of plan them in a time that your audience is around. Let's have a look here. Livestream Consultant says that being in the mountain time zone here in New Mexico, anything from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. or even 10 p.m. in the evening works. Since I'm an early riser, 5 a.m. to 7 a.m. in the morning is good for me. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm going to be flipping to Mountain Daylight Savings Time. That's the time zone I'm going to be flipping to. So yeah. So having how many Social Stream Ninja GIF things have I got here? Oh, I think what's happening is my mouse is connecting to the GIFs and it's not. I'm going to lock it. Can somebody send a GIF through, please? And then I'm actually going to lock it, because what's happening is I fiddle with my mouse while I'm streaming, and you know, it just sort of moves things. There we go. There's one there. Let's have a look and see what the next one. Let me just lock this in. Make everything a little bigger. There we go. Alrighty, I'm going to lock that. So I can't play with it anymore, is really what I want. I don't want to accidentally be messing around with it. Okay. The community guidelines are interesting. Is that new, or have I just never noticed before? Community guidelines have been around for years, many, many years. Are you talking about a specific guideline that may have recently changed, or... But no, the community guidelines and community guideline strikes have been around for a very long time. I don't know exactly when they first started. I feel like they've always been there. So they've been there since at least 2016. Oh, there was a pop-up of your rules in the chat on desktop. Oh, okay, that's what you're talking about. Okay, so sorry, now I understand what you're talking about. The chat ones, the chat rules. Sorry, I was a bit confused. I'm like... Anyway, no, the chat rules is not necessarily new. It was being tested and beta tested for a long time. And I've actually had the chat rules set up for a long time here on this channel. Well, a long time, probably at least a year. I'm not sure why you haven't received it before. But each time a new account comes in for the first time, and I believe it is only on desktop, for the chat, is the chat rule pop-up come on mobile? I'm not sure. Anyway, and you can go in. So you can go into your community. So you go into settings, your channel, your community, and you can scroll down. And you can set 3 chat rules. You can choose their standard rules, or you can have, create your own custom rules, which I actually recommend you do your own custom rules. Especially if you've got like a bit of a niche community, you want it to feel a little bit more relevant to your community. Doug's saying that it's been experimental on some channels for years, but it's recently officially released. Oh, there you go. So not everyone's had it. Amazing Yacht Destination says he gets the pop-up every time he joins on mobile. Really? I thought it was just the first time you joined. Maybe they're testing some stuff. You know what YouTube's like. They're testing stuff all the time. So yeah, I don't know. I'm also going to lock that. I don't know why none of this stuff is locked. I know me, I'm a fiddler. I need to lock down everything that, you know, I move my mouse around. But yes, but it really is just a, you know, quick glance and agree. It's not a biggie. So, I actually personally like it because, as you know, if you've been here before, I'm a bit of a stickler for the old chat rules. I have before I got the the chat rules over on, let me have a look here. Yeah, before I got the chat rules, being able to set them up, I've always had them in my description as well. And because I knew not everybody got the chat rule pop up, I felt that it was okay taking up description space with chat rules. I do believe that, you know, being able to specify rules, and especially if you've got a busy chat and you've got somebody who comes in and starts just stomping all over the rules and you boot them, and then they come back on another account like, why did you boot me? It's like, you broke the rules you literally agreed to be in this chat. So I don't know, it feels like you have a bit more of a fig leaf, especially as a moderator, to just sort of boot people out. The blob of doom. Obey the rules or get the hammer of doom. Yeah, it is the blob of doom now. The blob of doom just doesn't feel quite so, I don't know. I don't know why it doesn't feel the same. The blob of doom, the hammer of doom. Which, you know, I mean, technically we've had the wrench of doom rather than the hammer of doom. I'm keeping hammers as my thing. You guys can all have whatever you want. If you want to have these silly blobs, I will be keeping the hammers. I love having, you know, Thor's hammer and things like that. So for my moderation tool of choice, it shall be the hammer. I can build or destroy with a hammer and a wrench. You can build or destroy with a wrench. Hammers and wrenches and wrenches. We call them spanners in Australia rather than wrenches. So yeah, so, you know, having all these sorts of like, having these rules around, like some people like just rail against the rules because they're rules, right? And there's always these people that are like anti-rules, anti-guidelines, anti-everything because they don't want to subject themselves to the rules of society, right? Like there's always going to be those people out there. But you have to decide what you want in your chat, and it's your chat. You get to decide. So if you are a channel that thrives on sort of this sort of level of anarchy, then do it. It's your channel. And you get to have it how you want. Now for me, I like to have a place where people feel safe to comment, and if that means that somebody needs to whack the nasty comments around, because like YouTube is one of those things where you go into some live chats and educational live chats, and you will quite often see, depending on where you're at, people sort of, why would you ask such a stupid question? That's so stupid. Why didn't you just look that up? You could have Googled that. And it's just like, I mean, yeah, they could have, but they're in a live chat that is asking for help. So why on earth are we judging the level of help that people need? Some people come to YouTube with zero technological ability. They're total Luddites who are putting themselves out there because they want to do this thing. And then they get like this kind of thing back for asking a question, you know? And you just sort of sit there thinking, why are we gatekeeping? Like, why are we gatekeeping beginner knowledge? You know, like I understand why people gatekeep their like top tier knowledge. I get that. That's taken years and years and years for them to acquire that knowledge, to test it. I got no issues with people selling their knowledge. I plan to sell some of my knowledge down the track. But when it comes to somebody asking a question, they've asked a question, and there's a good chance if they summoned up the courage to ask that question, there could possibly be other people who need the same answer, who have not summoned the courage, because especially in these chats where people are just judgmental pieces of dookie. Yeah, Doug's showing all that's a shield. Exactly. Like seriously, like why have we got a blue blob when there's shields such as this available to us? I do not contract. Oh my gosh. People do comment the weirdest things. They really do. They really do. Livestream consultant says, I know a lot of Facebook groups that are theoretically places for people asking for help, and every response is Google it. Oh, man. I find that frustrating. I find that frustrating. Now, I was a community manager in a group. Well, community ambassador, not a community manager. Community ambassador in a group. And they were the questions that I rocked at, was the questions where they could have Googled it, because then I can Google it and give them a great answer. And so, but obviously, I always look at it as they may have Googled it, but they may not have been able to form the Googling question to get the response that they want. I actually think Googling is an art form. And I'm a black belt in Google Fu. So, and I know not everybody else is. So, you know, it's an art form where you have to be able to formulate the question. And whether you're using ChatGPT or Google or Gemini, whatever it is that you're using for your search, if you can't formulate the question, you're not going to get the answer that you need. You'll get an answer, but is it actually the answer that you need is another question. Or when you answer a question in a chat and you get banned because you mentioned the actual website and told you were promoting them. Oh, for goodness sakes. Really? Like, I see it in yarn crafting groups where somebody will be like, oh, where should I buy the best yarn from? And somebody answers their question with the name of a business. And if they tag that business so that the first person can find them easily to make their purchase, same thing. Oh, you must be working for the company. No, I don't work for the company. As a matter of fact, I work for their competition. But this is solid. Like, it's very frustrating. I do think that there's a fine line when it comes to moderation. There's a fine line of being heavy-handed, which I do get some comments every now and again where people are like totally anti-moderator. Because this is the experience that they've had, where it's been so heavy-handed that it's stifling. Whereas there's a level of moderation where it encourages communication, but in a respectful way. I'm okay with moderating for that. Are you unsubbed from that channel? I wonder why. I wonder why you would unsub from a channel that you could actually help people on, where the actual channel thought you were a shill for someone else. Seriously. I mean, it doesn't help that sometimes these companies do come in and shill for themselves under different handles. It does create a blurry line, but like when you're actually answering someone's question, anyway, I could go on all day about that. I see so much of it. So have you guys got any questions for me today? Have you got anything you want to mention? Are there any live streams that you've got coming up that you want to talk about here? I'm happy to share, because this is the thing. This is this channel is about helping you to live stream. Now, Learn Live Streaming posted this hilarious post in LinkedIn, and it was so funny. And I literally had to reply with ha 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 ha, because there was nothing else I could do. And last week's live stream was titled something along the lines of, you know, why even bother with live streaming? And he has actually just said here he's recently lost his mojo, and then he opens up YouTube and this is what's suggested, why even bother? And it is hard. Like I look at this, right? I look at my concurrent viewers right now, and it would be very easy to be discouraged. It would be very easy to be discouraged and stop streaming. But I am one of these people that I don't know how to quit. I have to be stopped as such. I don't know how to quit. And it is detrimental to my mental health at times. Because it's like, I should just quit. I should just quit this. And the next thing you know, you're like, no, back doing it. And I'm not going to say like, oh, just the next stream and you're going to blow up. I'm not going to say that, because that just doesn't happen to most people. It does happen, but it doesn't happen to most people. And sometimes we do just need to step back and take a break. we do just need to reevaluate why we're doing it, and then work out a new plan and see what you're going to do. Because it's very easy, especially in this very crowded sphere, to get discouraged, And I want to encourage you, and John, I'm talking directly to you. I want to encourage you that what you're putting out is such useful information. And if it only helps one single person next level their DaVinci Resolve or next level their OBS, then for me, that would be fantastic. If I could help one person. Because, you know, we all look at these numbers and we're all like, oh, well, I don't have 10,000 subscribers. This channel doesn't even have 1,000 subscribers yet. You know, like, who am I even helping? Who am I even talking to? What's the point of it all? And sometimes the point for me, and I have to remind myself of this, honestly, the point for me is so that I communicate with somebody else. I work in this room. I am in this room by myself most of the day. Now, admittedly, I've had to shut the door today because my husband's working from home and he's taking calls and he's very loud. He doesn't have an inside voice. And so, you know, I don't often have somebody here. Sometimes it could be easily 2-3 days where I won't talk to anybody except for my husband and daughter who come to the house, who like live in the house. And for me, it's important to communicate with other people. And it's just, so for me, it's selfish, okay? For me, doing these live streams is selfish. It's to make myself communicate with other people, because I can't make myself go out into the world because this is where I work. I mean, I probably could leave the house a bit more often, like, let's be honest. But aside from that, I don't communicate with externally very often. Everything is either a video call or a phone call, or it's all done from here. I don't do in-person meetings. I do everything via a video call. So having these times where I'm chatting, where I'm talking with you, it's not quite the same as an in-person or a video call with a client or one of my employers. But it is a broader spectrum of people. I get to talk to different people. I get to talk to Doug. I get to talk to you. I get to talk to live stream consultants and Anfield when he pops in, and everybody else who jumps in when they get a chance to jump in. And those of you that are watching on the replay, I reply to your comments, and you know, like, I still get to talk to you in a way. I still feel like I'm impacting people outside of my home. And if you're living alone, I can only imagine how much more it would be compounded. So, yeah. Livestream consultant says, especially for me, I shill for anything that helps someone get the answer to a question or a problem. That's the whole point of what we all do in this space. I agree with you. If somebody's got an issue and I know of an app or some software or website or something that will help with that issue, blip, there you go. Or I'll talk about it. Or if I don't, or if I think something's not worth it, I will say that as well. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. He doesn't have an inside voice. Yeah. He doesn't agree. He thinks he has an inside voice. But when he's on a call, he doesn't. In saying that, apparently I don't either. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. What if it doesn't? I thought the comma was in the wrong spot on the sub count, 6950. That's funny. Yeah, the internet is my connection to the world. It's mine as well. Honestly. And I think that's the case for a lot of people. It really is their connection to other people. Yeah, and you're making connections all on the other side of the world, on the planet. Look at where I live. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like I've often been curious, like when you're looking at your YouTube stats and you can see sort of the occasional countries where most people are from, but it gets to a point where, you know, they stop showing. And so if there's just one viewer from a country, you probably wouldn't see the country. And I'd be really curious to find out who is the furthest from Brisbane. Like as in, you know, kilometers or miles. Like who watches the furthest from Brisbane? Like I know the USA pretty far, but like what's the furthest point from Brisbane you can go without sort of coming back around? Questions like this plague me. Sorry. And do you know what could fix it? Google could fix it. Don't even start with me, Google. Like seriously, keep your little light off. But yeah, so I could definitely find that out. And then it actually, if everyone's happy to, put in the city that you are watching from. And if you're watching on the replay, please put in your city if you are, or your state. But yeah, put your city or your state in. And if you are like, and please put your country in as well. So, one thing I do find, I think I'm going to use the word amusing or interesting, is that when someone asks where people are from, in the US, they just put their state. But a lot of people don't know what the American states are. Like all Americans know what American states are. All Australians know what Australian states are. And like all Canadians know what the Canadian provinces are. But we don't all know each other's. So sometimes just sticking in like comma US, you know, it could be really helpful. Okay, Livestream Consultants just Googled it. It's approximately 12,400 kilometers. What town is that? Do you know? You're in Phuket, Thailand, not that far off the beaten track for the normal viewer. Yeah. So I'm in Brisbane, Australia. Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. So, but yeah, it's, so, yeah, I wonder I'm going to Google it. What city is 12,400 kilometers? Let's have a look here. All right, so places that are 12,400 kilometers include LA, New York. Oh no, is that right? So is LA? I would have, that's weird. Let me specify that a bit better. All right. Well, it just keeps coming up with LA. LA is the furthest point. It's 11,525. So there's probably some little town around LA somewhere. What? New York would be further than LA in distance, and it is, but then is it closer from another angle? Do you know what I mean? Like if I'm just going Brisbane to there, but we're not actually just looking at flight paths and distances. We're looking at like how close. I don't know. Yes, it's a globe-shaped problem when trying to figure out exactly. I'm like, but you've got to like, is it less or more? So yeah, but yeah, technically New York is about 15,000 kilometers away. But is it closer from another direction? I don't know. I don't know the answer. My brain has just gone, what are we doing? Stop it. You're hurting me. So I'm going to stop it and move on. I'm moving on. You know when you make yourself just a really nice coffee? I did that today. We've been having some problems with coffee machines. So the original machine that we had, what was it called? It was a no, my brain keeps going Lenovo. It's not Lenovo. Lenovo is not a coffee machine. Anyway, the original coffee machine died, right? And DeLonghi. It was a DeLonghi machine. The DeLonghi machine died. We'd had it for like 8 years or something. It was very good. But it just went kaputskis. So we decided we'd try the new Ninja coffee machines. And then it in under a month, it started just leaking water everywhere. Like, it was a mess. And so they've actually shipped us an entirely new machine. But what's really weird is before they'll ship us a machine, we should just have to just cut the cord on the old one. And I'm just like, why would we not just ship this back to you so you can use all the parts for other stuff? So we're stripping it down for parts for the new machine. But yeah, so, you know, it's definitely, and it's going a lot better now. I think it was just a singular fault. Even they hadn't heard the fault before. They were really perplexed. And so they just shipped us a whole new machine. So it was great. You asked what the straight line distance from Deming, New Mexico to Brisbane. Oh, okay. All right. I had a DeLonghi machine and it died, and I never reordered something so quickly. We went back for a DeLonghi and we couldn't get one. There was no local machines in stock for some reason. It was, and we even had to drive to a different store to go and get the Ninja, but there were no local machines in stock. It was so frustrating. And we wanted now. We went to a store to pick one up. Like, sorry, coffee machine is dead. It is time. Let's do it. And yes, because I ordered the same machine a second time, I have duplicates of most of the components. Can use one while the other is in the dishwasher. Absolutely. And because our machine was so new, it came with all like the first time cleaning products. So we've been able to put off buying those for more, because when you buy coffee machines, you know, you've got to get like descalers and all that sort of stuff. So, you know, getting all those samples again was cool. Okay, so the circumference of the Earth is about 40 kilometers. So furthest distance should theoretically be 20 kilometers. All right, let me Google. What point is 20 kilometers? No, 20,000. Because 20 kilometers from Brisbane, it's probably the suburb I live in. What point is 20,000 kilometers from Brisbane? The questions that we have in this chat, honestly. Let's have a look. Oh, here we go. Okay. The exact location is located off the coast of North Africa, roughly between the Canary Islands and the Azores. But the nearest city is Morocco. There you go. Interesting. Do we have anybody? Yeah, I understood. I just missed it when I was reading it. That's all. The second I looked back at it, I saw the K. I was just like, yeah, it's all good. I get it. I do order stuff from the DeLonghi website directly, machines and cleaning stuff, not the coffee. What the devil is a DeLonghi coffee machine? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm going to make an assumption here. You're a drip coffee drinker, not a drip coffee drinker, an espresso drinker. These DeLonghi machines, the ones that I'm thinking about, the one that I had, there was a hopper that you fill with your fresh coffee beans that you purchase from your favorite coffee place. For me, it's the coffee company down in Melbourne. They ship us up some beans every month or so. Fill that up, and then you would make your decision. For me, it's a long black. So I would press a long black, and it would grind the beans and then do the espresso shot and then push through the extra water and then fill your cup up. And then I would just bloop a little bit of cold milk in the top, because I'm a heathen, okay? Like I'm like, oh, I like good coffee. And then I'm a heathen and make a long black, like an extra long black. So it's still one shot of coffee, but lots of water. Kind of like the coffee machine version of an instant coffee, where it's 1 teaspoon of coffee and then stir it up with all the rest hot water and then put a bit of cold in the top. a bit of, I actually stir it with the milk first and then put the hot water in so that the hot water doesn't scorch the coffee. But anyway, yes, but I don't tend to drink the full milk versions. Like John's written here that they even steam the milk. Mine does steam the milk as well, but I tend not to use it unless I've got visitors because I'm a bogan and I just drink a long black with cold milk in the top of it. A drip, I have to filter out the grounds with an old sock from the tin percolator from the wood fire. Oh, I mean, and depending on how old the sock is, it may not be filtering that well. It could have some pretty big holes in it. But yeah, filter coffee is drip coffee here. It's the same thing. We don't drink it. It's actually hard to buy, or hard to find a filter coffee here. It's just really not. It's not. We're an espresso country. Most places we have espresso. If you go to a coffee shop to order coffee, you're getting an espresso. Yeah. I see it so often when people are surprised that we have espresso culture. And that's exactly why Starbucks didn't make it in Australia. So what do we have now? Like we have like 3 or 4 stores in the entire country. They tried to come in the early 2000s and they failed. Yeah, that's right. Even McDonald's makes espresso. So yeah, we don't get drip coffee in McDonald's either. If you order a coffee in McDonald's, you're getting espresso. So yeah, we're definitely an espresso culture in Australia, which is why it was so hard for me when I went to the USA to find coffee that I enjoyed. It was plenty of coffee that I drank, but coffee that I enjoyed was a whole other conversation. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I love espresso machines, but after drinking Indonesian coffee, it's just way better, but I cannot make it with a machine. How do they make Indonesian coffee? Because like Indonesia is one of those places where a lot of the world's best coffee beans come from. Like I know one of my blends has got Indonesian coffee beans in it. And so I can imagine that Indonesian coffee would be insanely good. But I don't know how it's made. My brother and dad have been really in on the mocha pot. They're loving their mocha pots right now, or their Turkish coffee pots. I'm not. I see why they like it. It's not my favorite. I'm an espresso person, so yeah. Livestream consultant says mine come in a little pod from Walmart. Hey, look, I'm not going to diss on pod machines. I nearly we were to the point where we were so tired of the issues that we were having with our DeLonghi that we were going to go with a refillable pod machine. I've got a standalone coffee grinder. So we were just going to buy a pod machine where we could fill and reuse our own pods. And that's we were looking at that seriously. And like, it was a serious consideration. And it was absolutely out there. I didn't mind what did I have in my hotel room? There was they seemed to be quite big cups. Like, cause the pods are quite small. But these were like, I want to say K-cups. Is that a thing? I think it's K-cups. Anyway, they weren't terrible. But what I will say is a lot of Americans don't know how to make a cup of tea. I'm just really going to put that out there. It was very shocking. When I asked like reception, like they supplied, like there was pods for the coffee machine that were for tea, and I was just like, really? It's like I had to run like 3 empty cycles to get the coffee taste out of like all the bits, so that when I made the tea, which was awful, I didn't make another one. So I didn't drink much tea while I was over there. Because I'm like, I talk about coffee a lot, but I only really drink coffee in the morning. I have tea for the rest of the day. Yeah, pods are still probably better than instant. Yep, I would agree with that. But I do have a jar of Moccona in the cupboard. It's an absolute emergency backup when you run out. Yes, look, we have, my dad prefers the Moccona, so when he comes, basically neither my husband nor I have sugar in our tea and coffee, so we have a sugar container in the cupboard next to the instant coffee. Best way to describe it is a coffee pot, and they strain it via a very special sock. Very hard to explain. Okay. All right. The last part of the cup you can't drink because it has grinds in it. Okay. So it's sort of like a brewed filter coffee. That sounds interesting. I'd try it for sure. I opened a new bag of coffee beans and it was the greatest thing that had happened to me in a long while, which is probably pretty tragic, honestly. I don't know if that's tragic. I think there's a special enjoyment when you just open that new bag and you get the of the fresh beans. I think that's a pretty dang special thing. So, sock coffee is an interesting marketing challenge. Yeah, is it called a sock? Amazing Yacht Destinations? Do they actually call it that? Or has it got like a special name? Or is it like literally the coffee sock? I mean, that could be fun. It could be fun making the marketing for that, because people would just be curious. Like, can I actually make a coffee with this sock? And you could have so much fun with it. Like, think like Squatty Potty Challenge, where you're just like, what the heck is this product? How are we ever going to sell it? And then that's the ad they come up with. It's, yeah. It's kind of like when you open up a fresh package of bacon. I'm going to be honest. I'm not a big fan of the smell of uncooked bacon. The second it's cooked, whole different ballpark. It's a special filter. Yeah, I figured it would be a special filter or a special sock or something like that. Like only used for coffee, never accidentally used for feet. But yeah, just calling it the sock is just kind of amusing. It's amusing to me. But I'm very curious to try the coffee. When I come to Thailand, I'm gonna have to try it. Like I am, aren't I? I'm just gonna have to try it. And just to clarify that I have no direct plans to come to Thailand, but it is on the list. I've got a few places that I would like to go, and that's definitely on the list. I want to go to Chiang Mai. Nick and Dee talk about it so much that it just sounds so beautiful. And I've got some other friends who aren't YouTube people who live in Chiang Mai now, and they just wax lyrical about it all of the time. They're like, you should totally come over. Like, cost of living is insane, and it's just a beautiful, amazing place. So yeah, it's on the list now. I mean, it was always sort of on the list because so many people, in Australia, going to Thailand is going to Bali and going to Thailand are the two big sort of local destinations that everyone goes to. I've never been to Bali either, to be honest. But Bali's never really it's never really like the image of Bali that I have, right, which is like the party Bali, like the young person party Bali. Never been interested in that, but I'm sure there's more to Bali than that. Live streaming with John wants to know, real talk though, what is the humidity in Thailand like? I can imagine it would be pretty dang high. Amazing Yacht Destination. If you could answer that question, that would be amazing. Because like right now in Brisbane, I think we're at pretty high humidity. Okay, we get some pretty full-on stuff. Get some pretty full-on humidity. Let me just look here. Currently, we're at 62%. Over the weekend, we're at 95%, and it was like, 22 degrees feels like 30, and you're just like, thanks, humidity. As long as I don't use a windsock, it has a very large hole at the end. Yeah, that's a great point. Amazing Yacht Destination says, I personally have, I'm assuming haven't been up north, but would love to go. I think it's one of those things. I think, like people say to me, oh, how, what's this place like? What's that? I'm like, I haven't been. They're like, but you live in Queensland. You're like, yep, I live here. I go holidays somewhere else, except for actually usually go holidays on the Sunshine Coast because it's my happy place. Phuket is usually over 90% on green season. So is that your summer? Is green season your summer or your winter? I'm assuming summer. It's like being in Florida during the hurricane season. The humidity does get to me. Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of high humidity. I always feel like I'm just walking through soup. And you just can't, I don't know. I just feel like I'm not dry. I don't know. That's one of the things I do love about being like next to the beach is that sea air is different humidity. I don't know. I'm tired. I'm realigning my body to a new time zone and I am tired. So yeah, it's summer, but it's never cold here. Look, the reality is in Brisbane, like our winter temperatures are the UK summer temps, right? Like during the day, and we'll get to like 25 degrees Celsius through the middle of the day in summer. But it's just that we have this massive drop overnight. Like the second the sun is gone, we can drop down to 0 or even negative. But we tend to stick around sort of the 2 to 3 overnight. And then the second the sun's back up, back up to 30 degrees or 25 degrees. It's just weird. It's just absolutely weird. John, because Johnny, you're in Sydney, right? I went to Brisbane one year in January. Mistake, number one. I could barely leave my hotel room for fear of spontaneously combusting. Yeah, January and February, hottest months up here. It's awful. Okay, so current temperature here is 78 degrees, 10% humidity with 19 miles per hour winds. What's 78? 78 F to C. 25. Oh yeah. 25 is nice. That's and no humidity basically. 10% is basically nothing. And 19 mile per hour winds. That sounds a lot. A fresh breeze. I'm just AI overview. Thanks very much for that. It says a 19 mile per hour wind is equivalent to approximately 30 k's per hour. In many weather systems, 19 miles per hour. Sorry, my brain is tired, so my stutter kicks in. Is classified under the Beaufort scale as a fresh breeze where small trees begin to sway and white-crested wavelets of whitecaps form on water. That's such a beautiful way. Yeah, Doug, totally squirreled right there. South coast of New South Wales, yeah. Yeah. We're lucky to get to 25 at night. That's a cold night. Chiang Mai is different. Okay. I struggle to sleep in temperatures over 22 degrees. I tend to be like, oh, it's 11 o'clock at night and it's still 24 degrees. I'm putting the air conditioning on. Yeah. It definitely gets too hot for me. I sleep better in the cold. But in saying that, I've actually probably never been properly cold. Like I've not had to deal with snow. I've not had to deal with like proper winter colds. Like legit, like Canadian cold or Alaskan cold, or even like some of the places in the USA I've been seeing in the news, like with their snowstorms. Not had to deal with any of that. I wouldn't know how to deal with that. I would definitely stay inside if I could. Like, I shall have all of everything delivered. I shall not venture outside for fear of slipping and busting up my knees. Until you have to keep wiping the dirt out of your eyes as the gusts can be upwards of 40. Okay, fair enough. It's a nice breeze until it's not. Oh, we just got back from vacation or holiday or whatever it's called. Where did you go, Home Rapid Repair? And welcome back. It's so good to see you. It feels like it's been forever since we've had a chat. Oh, yes. Snow and ice driving looks terrifying. Oh man, I watch a channel, Cecilia Blomdahl. She lives on Svalbard, which is like this beautiful island off Norway and Sweden. It's kind of like this intersect point. And it's insane watching them get around. But I even watched this guy, I don't know the name of his channel, but it came up in like, oh, my house was the coldest house. Anyway, there was snow everywhere, so I wanted to have a look because I'm so curious about snow. And he has to drive, like, to get to his particular house in winter, they have to drive over a lake, and they get in their cars and they drive across the lake. I would be having a heart attack, but apparently it's normal. It's just normal. It's just what we do. Anyway. You had a Florida spring break. Well, that sounds lovely. That sounds very nice. I hope you all had a wonderful time and you feel rejuvenated from your holiday. I tend to come home and need a break from my holiday before I get back to real life. I don't know why, but I do. If you want to see how bad it can be, go look up Ryan Hall, y'all. He is live right now with the severe weather going on right now. Oh, yes, it's, I'll definitely check it out. I'm always very curious. I was watching this one guy's channel, no idea what his channel is. It was just a video that popped up. And he has got a heated driveway, but they went away and he didn't leave the heating on. And they had to remelt everything on the driveway before they could bring the cars back in and heat the house up properly. So I was just like, wow, that's serious, heating your driveway. That takes some serious work. For me, I'm trying to get the moss off mine. So, like, we've got this one spot of ours that's a bit shady. So we're out there power washing moss off every year. So most of it's fine, but, you know, mossy bits every now and again. I'm not sure if you're surprised or not, but we totally went off tangent. I'm not surprised. It's normal for me. But we went real far. We went real far. Oh dear. All right. So my question for all of you, like Doug's out there on the social, you have to heat the driveway just to park a car. I'm heading way south to get warm. I'd be like, what? Northern exposure here grows the moss and grow stuff. I'm guessing Australia gets the southern exposure problems. Possibly. So it's time to start talking about it. But let me know in the chat if you are planning on going to Vid Summit. Now, I won't be going this year. That's already been decided. But I can still live vicariously through all of you and find out what you're interested in and what it is that you want to be checking out at Vid Summit. So you can definitely go and go and have a look. I don't believe they've released any of the speakers yet. I think it's a bit early for that. But are you planning on trying to get there? Let me know in the chat. Well, that's why we love streams. That's the thing, right? Like, you can plan a video and just keep on topic. And I've seen live streamers out there who totally keep on topic the entire stream, and they've got to plan. That's not what these streams are. If that's what you're after, you're in the wrong place. Home Wrap Repair says, yes, I'll be at Vid Summit 2026. Awesome. That is awesome. And I love how definite. It's like, I will be there. I'm going. Have you booked your accommodation is my question. That's how going are you going? Is your accommodation booked? You've just finished a call with your VA. Great to see you, Russell. And I'm glad you've got a VA now. I think that's awesome. Livestream consultant says, and I'm already almost as far as I can go in New Mexico. My property at the airport is less than 3 miles from the US-Mexico border. Yeah, not much further south for the US, is there? There's definitely a place for a structured stream and the social stream. I agree with you. I 100% agree with you. Home Wrap Repair, last year Nick paid for a private dinner for like 30 of us creators. It was so generous. That sounds awesome. That sounds amazing. You'll be booking your hotel very shortly. Yeah, I highly recommend that if you're planning to go to these sorts of events, not just Vid Summit, but any of these sorts of events, it's usually the accommodation that goes first, right? You can usually get your ticket a bit later or something like that, but it's usually the accommodation goes first. I'm working on another event right now, and we've got people who've got tickets, and they were warned like 12 months in advance, like accommodation goes first. You need to book your accommodation. Like if you've got specific accommodation needs, you need to book it now. And they didn't, and it's a week or so out from the event, and they're like, I need accommodation to suit this, this, and this. Have you got any recommendations? And we're like, try these places. And they're like, they're all booked out. And it's just like, that's what we got. You're going to have to go further afield. Russell says, hey, learn live streaming. Just use one of your YouTube videos on OBS. It was great. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that, Russell. That's brilliant. You have both even here on this channel. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do both structured and unstructured streams. I enjoy the unstructured more, but I also do like to make a point every now and again. I like to not totally waste everybody's time. Not totally. Oh, that's awesome. I'm loving this. Glad it was helpful, and it was great. That's so good. But yeah, so, you know, there is a place for personality on YouTube, and you don't have to be, you know, you don't have to be like a total, like, you don't have to not be yourself is where I'm going. You can be authentically yourself. You can make these decisions, and you get to choose. Now, there's consequences to decisions. Absolutely. Like, don't get me wrong. You get to decide what you want to do, but your decisions will have consequences, and whether they be positive or negative. For me, probably a mix of both. A mix of both. Is there a squirrel time? Yeah, I think it's just exclamation squirrel. If you go to the list, you've got some options on the list. There you go. So are you going to VidSummit? No, not this year. I won't be going this year. But I can still live vicariously through you all, to who are going. So yeah. Oh, there we go. Bring on the squirrel. Doug's usually king of the squirrel GIF. Is it going to come up? The GIFs have been playing up a little bit. Like, yeah. 1 minute they work, the next minute they don't. And then after last week's live stream, I went through and checked them all, and they all worked perfectly fine. I don't know what the problem is. Wasting time? We're all looking forward to, we can learn, we can chat, we can laugh and be serious. How is that a waste of time? Absolutely. Look, I'm agreeing with you, but not everybody feels the same way. Oh, there we go. There's squirrel working. Oh, it's case sensitive. That's probably what it is. Have I got it with a capital in the list? Let me know, because these things are case sensitive, and I learned that the hard way. I used the OBS stuff to make my last webinar like 3 times better last Wednesday. Absolutely brilliant. I am so glad that your webinar worked out, and that you got to have it look and feel exactly how you wanted it, and that you could find the resources to get it to do what you wanted it to do. I love that. I love that so much, and I think it's awesome. I really do, and I really hope that you got out of it what you wanted as well. So I'm my fingers are crossed for all of this success, Russell. Like, in genuineness, all of the success. You work so hard. So yeah, I really hope that like you, because it sounds like the webinar was a success, which I love. I love it a lot. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just seeing that the chat's bringing through the instructions for the GIFs that was just on. I have some more coffee. That absolutely deserves a happy dance, like without a doubt. Without a doubt, that deserves a happy dance. And this is the other thing, right? If I didn't want a socially interactive live stream, right, why would I go to the effort of allowing you to add in your GIFs or have the emojis fly across the screen? Because for me, it's got to be about fun as well. The conversion in the webinar was 14%. That is actually fantastic. Oh, versus industry standard of 3 to 5. Yeah. No, that was a great webinar. Like, well done, you. That is awesome. That is really good. Because that just shows to me that A, your target audience found the webinar, and then B, they were ready, and how you prepared them and whatever it was that you did in your webinar made them just sign on the dotted line. I love it. I love that. That's so awesome. That just sounds to me like you put in so much work. Like everyone's like, oh yeah, my webinar didn't work. Well, what did you do to prepare it? Like, did you, and they're like, oh, I just ran it, you know, I just did this. And you're like, okay. But I know you, Russell, and I know that's not what you would have done. You obviously, you tweaked OBS to make it do exactly what you wanted it to do. You did awesome. Home Rapid Repair's got the clappy hands. Got the clappy hands. Yeah, better than triple the standard. You can't turn your nose up at that. Absolutely you can't. You get to do a happy dance at that. Please tell me you did a happy dance, Russell, at the end of it. Maybe not on camera, but like for yourself, like a little jig. Come on, I gotta know. Or at least a pat on your back, like, you know. That's a great conversion. So yeah, it's definitely interesting what different people consider putting in the work. I know that, you know, we have these people come into the various education live streams, so like on Nick Nimmin streams and on Daryl's streams. I see those particularly because I'm in there, I'm moderating in there, so I'm checking people's channels when they ask questions. And the number of people are like, how do I grow my channel? And then you go and check their channel and there's no content up. And you're like, okay, is this a view? Like, are you on a viewing channel? You know, so and they're like, well, no. And I'm like, well, you need to upload some content. That's how you'll get views. And you can't learn from data you have, like from videos you haven't put out there. You can't learn to better your live streams if you don't have a real-time expression of your audience. You can only practice so much before you put it out there. There's no guarantee of success. There's no magic number of how many subs you have to have before you go live and have a successful live. I've got a friend, she's got a 500,000 subscriber channel. She started going live, was getting less live views than my 5,000 at the time channel. And it was just because her audience weren't there for the live streams. They were there for the other content. So you've got to always be priming it, be getting out there and doing the work and having the discussions and building up to what you want. You can't make it perfect the first time. Russell says, I'll also credit Chantelle and this group for letting me just be me versus uptight or flustered by the minor foo-bars that always occur. And that's the thing, Russell, they do always occur, don't they? Like, it's really rare for something to not go wrong or something to just not glitch or something. I had a live stream on the Fiberific channel a couple of weeks ago where the live chat wasn't working. It was nothing I did. It was a fault in YouTube, but people would have to like comment like 15 times before one of their comments would come through. It was a total glitch. But yeah, it was definitely it was, and I nearly bailed. Like it was so close to bailing, and then I persevered through it, and then YouTube fixed the problem. But yeah, it was really hard, but understanding that glitches happen, especially in lives, and you can't control everything, but you can be as best prepared as possible, and then just take a deep breath and laugh at the mistake. It's all you can really do. He had the triple espresso laced with the good bourbon. Yeah. Russ, learn live streaming. This is absolutely right. You cannot publish a blank page, not and have success and have people know what it is that you're on about. Ultimately, people want to know if all their effort will be worth their time on a YouTube channel. I get that. I do get that, but that's not how YouTube works. It's not how YouTube works. You have to put some effort in first and then decide. Because sometimes, and I've had discussions with people about this before, sometimes you have to do something for you to realize how much you don't like it. You're like, yeah, no, don't want to do that again. Like me with knitting cables, right? I don't want to do that. It's not my favorite. And then I get taught a different technique and I'm like, actually, this could work. But sometimes it's not until you, like everyone thinks, oh, YouTube will be the easy win. And those of us here, we know that's not true. It's not the easy win at all. There's so much that goes into in YouTube. There was someone asked Nick Nimmin a question a couple of weeks back, like, which do I need to focus on, the thumbnails or the titles? And he was like, all of it. Thumbnails, titles, content, description. It's not an and or. It's all of it. So, you know, it's one of those things you've just got to decide if you're willing to put in the time and the effort for nobody but yourself for at least a year. And then go from there. Like, it's very rarely that it ends up being nobody for a year. But that's how I see it, right? Like, could I do this just for myself for a year? And if the answer is yes, it's worth having a try, right? And obviously different people are going to have to think about it differently, because not everybody will try something just for themselves for a year. But if your goal is only success on YouTube, like, oh, I've got to have 100,000 subscribers by Christmas, I'm really curious about what kind of content you want to make, because it could work. It could definitely work, but it may not work. And then what will you be like if it doesn't work? Your life doesn't work like that. Absolutely. Russell, if you're not having some food bars, you aren't live streaming. It's a bit like that. Russell said, I might have screamed yes to the universe as soon as it closed, and that was before looking at sales. I just knew it was so much better than before. It felt right, didn't it? It just felt right. So that is, even a YouTube horoscope I watched earlier was like, I know you want to see the future, but you can't. How true is that? How true is that? Russell says, this was the third time doing the same presentation and the first time where I thought I nailed it. 3 more coming up, so more improvement likely, but only because I'm doing the wash, rinse, and repeat. Yeah. And just by doing it more, man, I'm so chuffed for you. I can't wait to hear what the results are. A YouTube channel is like a relationship. You have to put in the effort, and sometimes it feels great, but it can also feel off for seasons. Yes. Yes. Nick did a collab with Travis on vidIQ. He laid out everything. Oh, I haven't watched that. I'll have to go and watch it. But yeah, it's one of these things, and it's like, you know, it's like when I talk to people about building their communities, and they want these amazing communities. They want these places where people can come in and chat and do all this stuff in their digital community. And then they're like, yeah, but, you know, how does that happen? I'm like, well, you go in and you talk and you ask questions. And they're like, no, I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to spend any time in the community. I want the community for them. I don't want to be there. And you're like, well, how do you think your community is going to want to be there if you're not there? If you're not willing to put in the time and the effort, then why would they? And that's the same with live streaming, and it's the same with your YouTube channel and webinars. If you're not going to put in the effort, why is anybody else? You can easily hit those YouTube goals using Daryl methods, but is that you, and will that result align with your goals? And that's the thing. And this is what I love, that there's so many different YouTube educators out there, because like some people are like, oh no, there's only one that's really amazing. And it's just like, amazing for who? It's like, which is the best video editor? The best video editor for who? You've got to, you need to find people and find methods that align with your values. And that's so true. And align with your goals. Absolutely. Because like, I've seen yarn crafting channels that have, I know I keep going back to yarn crafting channels. It's my happy place, okay? I've seen yarn crafting channels that absolutely blow up, that just do phenomenal. But I watch their content and it's a nothing burger. You're just like, this video got 500,000 views on it. You've got a 1 million subscriber YouTube channel. But it was actually just an entire video of fluff. There was nothing in there. And for me, that's not what I'm there for. I don't want that. I felt like I wasted my 7 minutes. I was just like, oh, whereas I'll go to another yarn crafter channel and same 7 minutes, and I will walk away from that with my brain just exploding with like phenomenal ideas, because, you know, they just did it differently. Same yarn crafting community, same yarn crafting, like both yarn crafting niche, but one was more fluff and grandeur, and the other one was actually meat. So I don't know, like, and sometimes you just want the fluff, like it's dessert, it's flummery, you want the fluff. But other times you want the meat. So you've got to decide, are you going to be the meat or are you going to be the flummery? So, you know, I'm like fluffy meat. That sounds so bad. Oh, I need to find an alternative for a middle. Let's meat and dessert. Aspic, no, yuck. Um, oh man, I just cracked myself up. You guys haven't even heard this yet. It's still getting through to you. And I'm just sitting here laughing at my own jokes. Oh dear. Um, uh, On my fun YouTube account, I enjoy watching travel channels that are small, and I so enjoy seeing the growth. Right? Isn't that, like, I've been watching this guy called Kent Survival, and he's in the UK, and he does like camping reviews and what have you. And I've been watching him for a really long time, and he is powering. He has found his feet, and he is just going great guns. And it's so good. He's got a product out now. You know, or he's got multiple products out, and he's just doing such a good job, and he makes content I want to sit and watch for 40 minutes. You know, and just watching the subscribers grow, so you know it's worth them making these really long videos. Oh yeah, we do need a winning. I mean, I do try to remember, and I forgot to do this for Russell. Let me find something. There we go. We've got something for Russell here. We can go the hype. Is it gonna? Oh, there we go. I've got to press this button first. There we go. Everything's going gold and hype. Lots of fluffies. How did gold go as well? I must have accidentally triggered that. There we go. There's some hype for Russell. But yeah, no, we definitely are winning. I'm gonna look that up because or even just win. We'll definitely add one in because I want to hear about your successes as well, like whether it's live streaming on YouTube, making a decision about something to do with your business. I want to hear about the wins. This is a place where we can chat, where we can talk about all of this stuff. So, you know, we can't just talk about the things that we're failing at. That would be a sad stream. I failed at coming up with an analogy where I want to be in between. What's in between the meat and the dessert? Cheese course? I don't know. Normally I'm just like a dessert and dinner person. I don't do all the courses. When I see, come on little, there we go. When I see a small YouTube channel get their first brand deal, I am so happy for them. It is awesome. It's so good. You know, just seeing that, just seeing those little wins, those little steps. And you know, this is the first step. It's not the last step. It'll be the first step of many. You know, like when I got my first brand deal on this channel, I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't. I was just like, wait, you don't want me. You want someone else. You want a bigger channel. You want this out there. You need a bigger channel. Don't be silly. I think at the time I only had like 300 or 350 subscribers or something. But they're like, no, we want you. And I was like, oh, okay. Cool. So yeah, it's the thing that I see most of the creators, and not just small creators, but a lot of creators struggling with, is deciphering what's actually a proper brand deal and what is a scam and totally fake versus what are those brand deals that are just hiding an affiliate program. So, you know, it's just one of these things where it's just one of those things where you've really got to be so careful for a start, and you've really got to look into the email before you click on anything in it and respond to it. You know, so that's just the thing. You've just got to be so careful, because you don't want to miss out either, and they'll be like, well, I tried to contact you like 20 times, but you ignored everything that I sent you. And it's just like, everything looked like spam. MenTube wants to know what Russell's talking about. Are you talking about like the question that what he said about Daryl's methods, or like let us know? You know, we've been chatting a lot. Russell says some aspire to max income from AdSense, and if that's the case, the clickbait is the answer. Just keep tuning your content to what sells. I have such videos with 1 million plus views, but it attracted the wrong folks. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? Who are you trying to attract? And there is such a thing as the wrong audience. There's people out there who are like, I don't care who sees it. I want everyone to see it. It's just like, really? But how is that the right audience for you? Any audience is the right audience. No, it's not. It's really not. So, yeah. The nutritional veggies side. Am I the Hey, Gabby, how you going? Am I the nutritional veggies on the side? I don't know about that. I'm more like the buttered bread roll than the nutritional veggies. Excuse me, sorry. That method. Okay, so we're talking about Daryl Eves' YouTube formula. So you can go and check out his book, The YouTube Formula, which there is a second book coming. I think summer is the goal for the second book. There's also, he has a 30-day free challenge. So you don't even have to opt in for the paid version to work out if it's for you or not. So if you get the book, that would be my first recommendation. Get the book, read the book, do what the book says, and then see where you go from there. And then in the book, there is a suggestion where they send you off to the 30-day challenge, which is also free to do. So yeah, it's a good way to work out if it's the right fit for you. But the other thing to remember with Daryl's coaching, so for Channel Jumpstart, which if the book worked for you and then the 30-day challenge was exactly what you needed, your next step then is Channel Jumpstart. That's an interview process. So Daryl doesn't accept everybody into Channel Jumpstart. He's a bit fussy because he's got his own views as well. So he only puts his energy and effort behind channels that put out positive content. Like, it doesn't have to be like cheerful and uplifting, but just like negative and mean. Is not into that. And it's his business, so he gets to do it how he wants to do it, just like we get to do our channels how we want to do them. Livestream Consultant says, it always comes down to your target audience and what you are looking for. Yes, it does. Absolutely. Hang on, I'll grab a link to the book. I can grab a link to the book. If I can type, because Russell can't put a link in because he is not a moderator. YouTubeformula.com. There we go. There's a link to the book. So you can go and check that out for yourself. Yeah, Mr. Beast is definitely one of the, is usually the most popular face of people who have worked with Daryl. But there's a lot of people who've worked with Daryl that you sort of don't realize it have. Which even, like, I work for Daryl, so even I'm surprised every now and again when I find out someone either did like some consulting with him or something like that, or was one of his jump starting students. You're just like, oh really? Okay, cool. I've been watching that channel for years. And so, you know, I had no idea. But yeah, so it's not just one particular, like, it's not, you don't have to Mr. Beastification everything, right? And still be successful. And a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to end up like I don't want to have a channel like Mr. Beast. And you're like, that's cool, because he's got those channels. You don't need to have those, and you'll be fighting him and you will probably lose. But you can have your channel that utilizes some of the same data analytics and the same data deep diving to learn and work out who your audience is, which is something he did. So, yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to all the different teaching methods. Like, I'm still a massive fan of Primal Video's Accelerator program, or what it was when it was around. I absolutely loved it. It's a bit different now. I haven't dug into it much in the last few months. I've been a bit busy, but I really found that for me, especially when I was looking around at the time to try and work on my channels, which I'm not doing quite so much anymore, but finding a coach or a mentor that speaks to you in such a way that it really connects with you is probably a really important way, which is one of the huge advantages to the fact that there's so many really great educators out there. How did that end up small and tiny over there again? I did not move it. I locked it. How is that unlocked? Oh my gosh. I don't even know what's going on. It's still locked. I don't understand how it moved or... No, it's unlocked now. Did I change screens? I didn't change screens. I don't understand. Maybe I unlocked it. Maybe in my clicking around and fiddling that I do, I unlocked it. Anyway, sorry. But what I was saying was there's just so many amazing teachers out there. So you've got like the likes of Nick Nimmin, Daryl Eves, Justin Brown. D Nimmin is putting out some interesting stuff on occasion. Go and check out some of his older stuff. Daniel Batal, Roberto Blake. Like there's just so many that it just... You can find the right voice that resonates with you and your kind of content. Absolutely. Meredith Marsh. Absolutely. She is fantastic. I really love watching her content as well. She does a really solid job. And and then you need to look at where you're focusing. Like if you're a YouTube focus, these are the people. But if you'll say you want to focus on LinkedIn, you want someone like String Nguyen. She is phenomenal on LinkedIn. So you need to find the person for the platform that you're working. Andrew, oh my gosh, how did I miss Andrew? Honestly, Andrew can. And if you want a community of creators, the Can Do community over on Discord, you need to go and check it out. You absolutely need to go and check it out because it's just full of creators asking questions and getting help and helping each other. It's such a good community. I love the Can Do community. Doug, do you have a link for the Can Do community handy? I don't have one handy. I'd have to go hunting. Never heard of her. You'd have to go look her up. Do it. Absolutely do it. She is phenomenal. She's so down to earth, you know? Like that's one of the things I love about her is that she's not like... There's a lot of female content creators out there that I don't gel with, right? Because I'm not a girly girl. I don't do the makeup and the hair and the look and the pristine right background and all that. So I don't do that. That's not me. That's not my thing. And I really struggle a little bit feeling, and it's an internal thing, but feeling like we're on the same path. Whereas Meredith, like she still does the beautiful hair, the beautiful makeup, the fun background, stuff like that. But her attitude just seems to be a little bit different. Anyway, I gel better with her content. I don't know. I don't think I've chatted to her too much outside of that. I have chatted with her on occasion, but not a lot. I don't know if I would get to call her a friend. Russell does. Russell can call her friends because they're both BBDs, which is business by design. So if you are a YouTube creator or a video creator, which I would assume you are if you're here, but if you have a business or a product that you're selling, you should totally go and check out Business by Design. That is a solid path for creating a business online. Lots and lots of educational material involved. They've got live calls. They've got so much amazing stuff for you to go and check out. It's just another really, really full-on place. And Russell's a part of BBD, and even he will say like the online community is so active as well. Everyone are doers. Everyone in that group are doers. They're not talkers. They're doers. And being surrounded by doers is just an insane thing. Russell says he's just started that's James Wedmore, his latest course for Stellar Coach. Cool. That sounds, I don't know anything about that. As I said, I've been totally out of the loop. I've been focusing on some other stuff. So yeah, I have to definitely check out that. But yeah, James Wedmore, great teacher. A little woo. Would you say a little woo, Russell? I would say a little woo. But not in an overwhelmingly bad way. I normally find people who are over woo off-putting. And he is woo, but I didn't find it to be off-putting. So yeah. Oh, it's almost as much as BBD. Yep. And this is the thing, BBD is not cheap. And this is why people who join it are doers. And it's one of those things when it comes down to price points for education packages. When you're planning out your prices, some people are like, oh, I'll get more people in with this amount of money. Like if I have the price set at this price, like say $50. And it's like, that's cool, but what kind of people will you get? Will you actually get the people who do the course and give you the feedback and succeed? Like that's the thing. You want people who come and do your course and succeed and tell other people about your course, right? It meets the goal and does what they want to do. Or do they just go, oh yeah, I paid for that, cool, but never did it? Or like BBD. Is BBD still about $3,000 US dollars to do? I think it's last I looked, it was around sort of the $3,000 mark. I'm a lot woo these days, but like James, I don't push it on others. Yeah. And that's the thing, like you can be woo. And do you guys know what I'm talking about when I'm talking about woo? Like woo woo? Like, yeah, there's things like Google, you could probably Google it. I'm not inventing a term. But yeah, it's that's 3K, yeah. And that's like serious money. People who are serious spend serious money. And it's one of those things where it just, while it takes time to do, it's actually like a really streamlined process. So yeah. But anyway, I'm going to run away because I've got to get some stuff done before I go to bed. Because I'm switching over to Mountain Time today because I start work at 9 o'clock tomorrow, Utah time. So I need to go to bed early, like early for me, like mid-afternoon. I'm going to get some stuff done before I do. I've got a couple of loads of washing or what have you to get done first. So exciting stuff for a Sunday, right? I've loved chatting with you all. Thanks so much for coming in and joining the fun and asking the questions. And I really hope that you do continue on your journeys. You do take the next step. And I know how hard it is sometimes just to keep moving forward. I really do. I understand that. And I just hope you all get to do the next step. Here we go. Today I was on my daily walk and I asked the universe for a sign that recent decisions were good and asked for a shiny object, and one appeared 5 steps later. Well, there you go. Oh yeah, you need to start for a few more hours. It's only 6:30. Oh, I know, but I've got to get some other stuff done. I'm planning on going to bed like 10:30. So in like 4 hours, 4 or 5 hours. So, but yeah, I've got to get some things done before I can do that. And then I'll be on US time for the whole week. So my family are not really looking forward to it. But they're supportive at the same time. So yeah. And look, yeah, that thing with the shiny and the asking the universe for stuff, it is a little woo, but it's not too out there. I mean, and I know one woo thing that I actually don't mind is like stones, like my daughter collects the little, like the little stones, and I go in and look at her stones and read what they're about and all that sort of stuff. No, I don't. I'm cool. I'm going to have everything set to silent because I'm going to be waking up at about, I think it's going to be about 6 a.m. or 6:30 a.m. Mountain Time, which is basically when the rest of my household are going to bed. So, yeah. And my husband's like, are you just going to have dinner when you wake up? And I'm like, no, I'm going to have breakfast. I'll have dinner tomorrow. And he was like, you could just have the dinner for breakfast and then go backwards. And I'm like, my body won't cope with that. It'll want breakfast when it wakes up. It won't want dinner. But yeah, it's definitely the things. Woke up the other day and my clock said 4:44, and later my steps app after I walked said 22:22, and they're my angel numbers. That is awesome. I love that. Oh, look, I could do breakfast for every meal. I am a bit of a fan of breakfast. I really am. Doug says he needs a nap today. I don't blame you. I need a nap. I usually try to write my Saturday night, like, because we stay up crazy time. Like I went to bed at about 4:30-ish, 5 a.m. on Saturday morning my time because we stayed up to do all the modding for the streams. Doug probably stayed up later. I went to bed. But he had another stream to mod and or to attend. I did not attend. I had a shower and went to bed. and then for whatever reason, 3-4 hours, that's it. I have to be awake because the sun's out, and you know, it's my family aren't home. There's no noise waking me up. It's just my body going, oh, yep, 10 o'clock on a Sunday, time to get up. And I'm like, no, body, no. I would like to sleep a little later, please. But yeah, so then usually I have a little sleep on Sunday afternoons and then try to get everything back into place for Mondays. To get back to normal time zone, but I didn't do that. My sleep yesterday was a mess. Today was a mess. But hopefully that'll mean I'm exhausted this afternoon. I get to sleep. That's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, Doug was definitely up a lot later. Yeah. Tacos too. I don't know if I can do tacos for breakfast. Doug says I was up at 5:15 today. I feel jet lagged. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I don't know how long term we can do this for. I don't know. I mean, I'm going to keep trying. And by that I mean like doing the weekend flip to get back to Australian time on the weekdays. I'm just like, man, is there a happy medium? For me, there's a happy medium. I'll actually be able to find a medium where I'll be able to get in between the time zones and just stay there. Doug can't do that because he's got a 9-to-5 job out of the house. So I should be able to find a happy medium. I couldn't do shift work. I'm an old man that needs to sleep at night. Oh, I was thinking about nurses and first responders and doctors and police and all these people that their shifts continuously change. Like they don't just get to. I had a friend who worked in a factory and he worked the 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. Is it 9 p.m. to 7 a.m. shift every single day? And he was just, I think it might have been to 6, whatever. He worked that shift every single day and he was just totally used to it. But like nurses and doctors and everybody, their shifts are just on these rolling rosters where they're like, oh, I'm on nights this week, but then next week I'll be on days. And they don't just get to settle into a time slot. They've got to constantly change them. And I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Anyway, 40 years, I did 0 dark 30 for decades. Yeah. Yeah, that seems crazy to me. Yeah. Well, and that's the industry they've chosen to work, so they have to do that. Russell says when I was in the military, it changed regularly, especially at sea. Yeah, because there's like you have to work a particular shift. You know, like you'll be on days and you'll be on nights and everything moves so that no one person's just stuck on nights all the time or stuck on days all the time. But yeah, like it's just a little bit, it's just that. That's all it is. And plenty of people do it for their entire careers. I just need to adjust. And I need to find a happy medium is what I need. So yeah. Livestream consultant says, my number 2 daughter is a nurse and she does the graveyards, usually 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. for her. See, in Australia, the nurses don't get to choose a shift. Everyone's on rolling shifts usually, like unless it's like some sort of private entity, but all the government hospitals are on rolling shifts. So yeah, it's very weird, isn't it? When we start talking about work hours, everyone just assumes 9 to 5 Monday to Friday is standard work times. And I remember my daughter was having a conversation with one of her friends, and he was ticked off that she was sometimes not available to do stuff on the weekends and things like that because she works some weekends because she was, working at a grocery store and that they're open 7 days a week. And he was like, when are you going to get a real job? And she was like, what do you mean by a real job? And he goes, a 9 to 5. And she goes, even when I'm qualified vet nurse, I will still need to work weekends. And it's just like different, like this whole like Monday to Friday, 9 to 5 is the only work slot. I think that's a really limited thinking. Obviously we all need to have a work-life balance, but not everyone's work-life balance is Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. Mine's not, and I'm pretty happy for the most part of mine. But yeah, like it's just a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy. Anyway, on that note, my friends, I'm going to run away, and I'll catch you all next time. Be good right now.